Recording in progress.
Can you guys hear me?
Quite 7.
It is 7.
No, it isn't.
If you believe that clock, Mike, I
No,
think
I've got.
maybe it's time for a
six-
change.
It's 6:59.
Everybody else has 7. Move to open the meeting at 7 o'clock.
Second.
Give me some, oh, there's 100 foot.
Yeah, so here's,
All in favor of beginning the meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission on Wednesday, August 13th, say aye.
aye.
I don't believe we have any members remotely. And we do have a quorum.
200.
So I'll call the meeting to order, and our agenda as posted had an error on it. It said the next thing we were going to talk about were annual appointments, but we're skipping over that because that got on there by mistake. Somehow, we didn't take it off from June. All right, so tonight, we have one public hearing, one public meeting, and about 4 other things to talk about. We'll hear about our new agent, give him a chance to tell us his impression over the last few weeks, and I think that's about it. So I'll motion to open the public hearing for the Johnson's Creek Dam Notice of Intent for emergency repairs to the Johnson's Creek Dam, also known as the Salem Street Dam. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Commission. My name is Adrienne Dunk. I'm with GZA. I'm here to present on the project. We've met before about this project, so everything should be a little bit familiar. I'm just going to share just quickly for anybody in the public who's maybe not so familiar with this situation. So the Johnson Creek Dam is its formal name. It is the dam that is under Salem Street, and it creates the Upper Johnson's Pond or Meadow Pond. It's a little confusing since everything has 2 names, but that pond. So as you'll recall, back on January 1, an emergency certification was issued by the Concom to begin work for dam repairs. Work started that day. On July 15th, the emergency certification was revoked by Mass DEP, and they determined in a half-page unsigned letter that the work proposed exceeded that necessary to abate the emergency. So that was sent by mail. It was received by the town on July 17th, and work did stop that day. The emergency certification said, get an order of conditions to finish anything outstanding, and to permit what was done. We'd already discussed with you getting an after-the-fact notice of order of conditions, filing an after-the-fact NOI. And so that next week, we filed the notice of intent that you're hearing tonight. And so that is serving as both the after-the-fact notice of intent for work that was completed between July 1 and July 17, and is seeking to permit the little bit of remaining work. There's a little bit of final work and some cleanup work left to do. So the dam repairs were proposed because there were safety deficiencies at the dam. The outlet pipe was in very poor condition. As you'll recall, there was quite a bit of separation occurring between the culvert, and this is looking at the downstream face of the dam. The pipe had separated from the downstream wall, and that was allowing material from inside of the dam to be eroded, and that was causing safety concerns. Inside of the pipe itself, there were voids and corrosion that was very concerning. This is an up-close look at that outlet pipe, that it had 11 inches of separation, and that separation was increasing over time that it had been monitored. And then the downstream masonry wall also had a bulge in it, and that was very concerning because with this type of construction and some of the unknowns about this construction, given the age of the dam, the likelihood of it failing was kind of unknown, but it would be an abrupt situation. It wouldn't be something that could kind of be caught and addressed as it was occurring. It would be kind of an all or nothing type of situation. And we could see evidence of the instability in the dam through the repeated patching of potholes and sinkholes in the dam and in the street and in the sidewalk on Salem Street. So that was kind of surface evidence of what was going on below the surface. So those safety concerns is what made this, rise to that level of an emergency, needing very active and timely addressing. The work was done while the emergency order was valid, and as I said, once it was revoked, that work was, pencils down that day. The work that has been fully completed included the drawdown that was necessary for the culvert lining and the culvert lining itself. And so that included, it was about a 3-foot drawdown. So that occurred, as I'm sure you're all aware. There are new stop logs in there. The pond has not refilled yet, but the stop logs have been in place since July 16th. And so we are hopefully awaiting rain so that it can refill, but it is ready to refill from a construction point of view as soon as nature is ready to refill the pond. And then the culvert was lined in its existing footprint. And so here's a photo. We had talked about the type of lining that was being proposed was a cured in place liner. So it goes in as this sleeve, and that looks like this plastic wrap goes in, and this is the inlet side of the dam, so that's where it needed to be dry. And the inlet goes in, and then this is after it had been expanded to line the culvert, and it was curing. And so that's looking from the downstream side of the dam up through the dam culvert. This is Meadow Pond, and it's drawn down state. And these were the new stop logs that were installed. The stop logs initially, the initial attempt in putting the stop logs back were leaky. So it did take 2 tries. It took new stop logs to get them to hold water, but they are holding water now. So we're just waiting for that pond to refill. On the downstream side of the dam, there needed to be construction access for everything, and then there was, which was completed, and then a downstream buttress to support the wall because of that bulge in the wall itself. And so that's this kind of cobbly looking area. And looking at it in section view, we had proposed a buttress or a berm, a cobble berm. So the pipes extended, and then putting large stone downstream of the wall, just to support the wall in place, to keep everything where it is. And most of the berm is built, but it still needs a little bit more rock to be placed. So that is part of the mostly complete work, but not fully complete yet. And so looking at this as the construction access road, we had talked about a little bit of tree cutting would be necessary, but the stumps would be left in place we didn't want to destabilize any soils. And so this is from the bottom of the hill looking up the construction access and kind of the top looking down as it was getting built. And then this is the partially constructed berm. On July 15th, partially constructed, and then as of July 17th, and this is its current status since that is when work stopped. You can see it's large stones, and they are coming out across the top of this extended culvert. They will be extended, fully across the width of the stream channel there. So a few more loads of stone do need to be delivered, some cleanup to make sure these stones come out of the mouth of the pipe, and then the guardrail, a new guardrail will be installed up on the roadway. That's the remaining work to be done once there is an order of conditions for this work. Looking at the resource area alteration, the impoundment drawdown is significant. The refilling is ongoing but slow. Lining and extending the culvert that is permanent impact, but it was pretty small. So we had about 225 square feet of land underwater, 200 linear feet of bank. That is completed. Installing the buttress, so that's the stone. That was 190 square feet of BLSF, and that's really just immediately adjacent to the channel is where the BLSF is there. And then 960 square feet of inner riverfront area, which includes the 575 square feet of the Groveland 25-foot vegetation no-cut zone. So that work is largely complete, but there is some more filling that remains to be done. So that is the summary of where things stand today. I'm going to pause there and ask if there's any questions from the commission that we can answer.
I have some questions. This is Mike Dempsey. So the work that was not done includes more stones on the outlet side and replacement of the guardrail on both sides of the road? Anything else?
That's it.
So I'm a little concerned about our emergency order. I don't like to do emergency orders because I think probably anything could be termed an emergency if you say it the right way. And even though I believed that this was an emergency indeed, when I wrote the order, I couldn't provide enough information to completely describe the work that should be done and was proposed because we didn't really know completely how it was going to be done. And sure enough, DEP didn't agree with our order and decided to reject it. Fortunately, they didn't do it until after you'd already pretty much completed the real emergency work, correct?
Correct. The emergency is abated at this point
Yes.
by
So
having done the work.
do you think the DEP would have stopped us earlier if they could have?
You know, I don't know. Their letter doesn't say that they disagree with it being an emergency. They say that the, quote, the work proposed goes beyond that necessary to abate an emergency, end quote. And they offer no information on what they would have determined satisfactory to abate the emergency, nor do they state who made that determination. So I can offer no input and, you know, no idea about what they think. They did not state that it was not an emergency.
So I just want to make it clear, I guess, in this hearing that the commission did not make any errors. We did not issue an emergency order that shouldn't have been issued. And I think that between your company and what you did and what the commission did to make that happen was completely fine and probably the best solution to what needed to be done to fix it. It has been discussed by other boards in our town, kind of with the implication that somehow the commission made a mistake but I don't think that that's true, and I just want to say that we didn't make a mistake.
I don't read their letter as indicating you made a mistake, and the DEP always retains the right to be able to review emergency certifications.
Yes. You know, I don't disagree with what DEP said. I more disagree with what I heard from other boards, or board in particular. So a couple of other questions that I have is, what do you think the impact has been on Meadow Pond? Because now we're going into the second month of it being emptied, and we don't see it really filling up. On the shorter term, I would have liked to have seen it fill in by now, but it's not. So what do you think the impact is going to be on the pond, the habitat there, et cetera?
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked to have come in tonight and said, here's a photo, it's totally full. I think that under the criteria of the Wildlife Habitat Evaluation and the Wetlands Protection Act, it is still we do assess the impacts to wildlife habitat at 2 full growing seasons after the impact. So I do still believe that in the growing season of 2027, that we will not be seeing adverse impacts on the habitat of Meadow Pond. I think that this will be an aberration that the pond will be resilient to. I think that we are seeing, emergent and wetland vegetation growing in the pond basin, which should typically be supporting no vegetation or aquatic vegetation. So we're seeing, probably an expansion of cattail, sedges, which are great plants, great vegetation, but growing where there should be open water or other aquatic vegetation.
Mike, how much
Animals
higher
have been
would you-
displaced, so I think it is definitely stressful on the pond.
Mike, how much higher would you like to see the pond?
Well, that's kind of the next question I have, but just to follow up on my previous question. So if we were doing this under non-emergency considerations, wouldn't it have been better to put a cofferdam in and not lower the level of the pond?
Under non-emergency situations, lake drawdowns and pond drawdowns are permitted for dam repairs because drawdowns and working on dams under dry conditions are the safest for human safety, worker safety, and dam safety. So there is specifically a limited project to allow for drawdowns for dam repairs. If we had done a cofferdam and there was a discussion of the use of cofferdams in the water handling section of the notice of intent, using a cofferdam and bypass pumping is extremely expensive. There is risk associated with that, with monitoring and making sure that the pumps are always running, are always capable of passing the storm, a storm that could occur. And it has been a dry summer, but there's no way to know that when you're putting in the system. So you do have to prepare for the worst and operate and manage it for worst case conditions.
Well, if it was a non-emergency, you could wait until fall to do it when there's going to be rain much more likely in the future. So I think it's unfortunate that it had to happen during the summer when it's naturally dry. If this had been, I suspect that it's not all that different from the way it looked 2 years ago when we had that really bad drought. Even with the barriers being removed. And I'm just wondering, if you want to raise it by a foot or two, that would mean lowering Johnson's Pond by about an inch?
Could be.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it would take much to replenish it quite a bit, just because of the volume of the upstream source of water. So it seems to me this is a problem that could be solved after a pretty short discussion.
Well, Johnson's Pond right now is not as high as I would like to see it. And so we could lower it, but I don't know that it would completely fill up Meadow Pond. But what and I haven't looked at the dam here at Salem Street in the last few weeks, so I'm not sure exactly how much water is in there. And I'm also haven't seen what level of stops have been put in. But how did you determine how many stops to put in? And can you give us any guidance about that as far as once water starts filling it up, how far up should we let it go?
We put, at Salem Street, the stop logs have been put back to their typical elevation, which is about 68.7 feet, so that's where it was before. There's variation if the Conservation Commission wanted it to be at a different level. It was lowered to 65.6, but the stop logs are back to 68.7. The water is still down fully at 65.6, so it's not spilling over the stop logs. Even if we went down to one stop log instead of 3, it wouldn't be spilling. There is water in the stream downstream of the dam. So there's, groundwater additions to the stream. Downstream of the dam, Johnson's Creek is flowing.
I mean, Mike, just eyeballing figure 1, the area of the relative areas of the two of them, I suspect you could raise Meadow Pond by a foot without lowering it without lowering Johnson's Pond even as much as an inch. And, if you want to get it 2 feet higher and lower Johnson's Pond 2 inches, that sounds like a pretty fast and easy solution if the stakeholders are willing to go along with that.
Well, so how many more stop logs can be put in? I guess that would be my question. What would be the measurement at that point?
Well,
The water's
changing
not going over,
this,
is it?
No, but what I'm
yeah,
saying is-
changing the
what's the
stop logs
point?
at Salem Street's not going to change the water level right now.
Yeah, you got to get more water in.
No, I realize that, but what I'm saying is, it has been historically too low. So my feeling is we should raise the level of that pond by putting at least one more stop log on there, on the Salem Street side. Is that possible?
So you're talking about once it gets back up to
Yeah,
normal height,
obviously.
you would like it to get to even more height.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Obviously,
Whose
today,
decision is
it's not
that?
flowing over, it's not
Sorry?
gonna make any
Whose
difference
decision is that? That has
today.
nothing to do with that company.
That's a long-term decision.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, whose decision is that? That's,
Well, it's nobody else's but ours.
okay.
So
So
it
it
looks
looks
like
like they have room to put another,
Well, that's what I'm saying. How many more stop logs can be put? Can one more be put in? Can 2 more?
Well, is
I
that
would
something they need
I'll
to address,
have
or is that an
to-
internal town affair?
yeah.
Can we get back to you on that answer? So we can't close the hearing tonight anyway. So before doing the drawdown, we had received the no-take determination from Natural Heritage. But in filing the notice of intent, we did have to file the notice of intent with them. And so we actually are waiting for them to issue a statement essentially saying that they stand by their no-take determination. And so they do have to comment on this notice of intent before we can close the hearing. So we do have to continue tonight, no matter what. So I'm happy to talk to our dam safety engineer and talk to the town and come back with some more information about the stop logs
Foot and a half.
next time.
Nowhere near there.
I just don't have that information
Really?
tonight about if we
We're
could
in now, or-
put more in above 68 right now.
Yep. Okay, so, you know, anything that you can provide us about the impact, future impact of raising the level up higher than what it is set to now would be helpful.
Okay.
If I may join in for a second, I'm Derek Shipper. I'm working at GZA with Adrian here, and there are room. You could put 2, perhaps maybe 3 more stop logs in place. There are the grooves are in place to accommodate up to 3 more logs. You know, that being said, I think it's advisable to not increase the hydraulic load on the dam more than it needs to be, because there still is, I know we're buttressing the downstream side and it's still not complete, but I still think it's a good idea to keep less hydraulic load pushing on that dam, just given the consequences of a failure of this structure because of the utilities and the public access and so forth. So although there are there are logs that could be put in place, I think it's a good idea to not overdo it and put too much load on this with water pressure.
So that would be one thing to take into consideration with raising it, but, you know, what I want to hear about is what Natural Heritage says about the pond itself, and we can try to balance the concerns of both.
Is it fair to say that your concern about the strength of the dam is just because we don't know what the construction is, so you're unable to calculate what kind of hydraulic load it can actually take?
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty with the subsurface. You know, you just can't see it. So when in doubt, be on the safer side. Keep the water lower if you can. Provides more storage in the event of a storm. You know, it's just, I understand people want to have the pond, but I'd be hesitant to just really load it right up to the top of the concrete of that spillway
I would
for
also,
safety reasons.
yeah, I'd like to point out that these repairs were emergency repairs. This dam in the long term will need a rehabilitation if it is to remain. It continues to be, it continues to need additional work. This work was the emergency repair so that it can be used in place. But this was not the end of the work at this dam. This was just the short-term emergency repair work.
The
So
emergency's
you-
over, but it's still vulnerable.
we'll be back. The emergency is over, but we are not
Still
done here
vulnerable.
because we don't want to come back here with another emergency. We want to come back here with a long-term management plan.
If I could also just mention, you know, I would not consider the emergency to be over. The buttressing stone is partially in place, it's not fully in place. So I still think it behooves everyone to get that work completed, get the buttress in place, and we can all, you know, sleep a little more soundly then. But the pipe is lined, and that's a very good thing. We don't have to be concerned about the pipe collapsing, which would have been a really bad situation here. So the next thing to deal with is making sure that downstream wall is, stable.
Yeah, that's still bulging.
You know, it's awfully precarious. Yeah. And all the stone that we implanted and put it in place, again, it's about, you know, halfway there or so.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Any questions from the audience? Nope. Okay, so I'll take a motion to continue, close the hearing temporarily and continue it to our next meeting on
September 10th.
September 10th. Yeah.
Second.
Oh, all right. So I'll make that motion. Somebody second it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you all.
You-
Thanks for finding that. The next item on the agenda is a meeting on 22 Center Street, a request for determination of applicability with a Groveland RDA for the construction of an addition to an existing single-family home with associated replacement of the on-site septic system, paved driveway, and other utility services located within the 100-foot buffer to jurisdictional wetland resources. This is not a hearing, so we don't have to vote to open it up. All right, I'll turn it over to you, Bill.
My name's William Polk, representing the windows of the owners. You all have copies? We do. Currently, an existing single-family house on the property, that's 33,500 square feet of area, 3/4 of an acre. Has an old system that was built, I believe, back in the 70s, 60s. It's fairly old. It's right behind the house, which is in this area here. There's a tank, existing tank, and a leach area, indicating the size. And that area is actually breaking out, so it needs to be replaced anyway. It's very old. The wetlands is associated with Johnson Ponds across the street. It's about 10 to 15 feet off the edge of pavement. It's located by survey, 100-foot buffer, 25-foot buffer, which is shown, which is actually, just to show it, yeah, right there. Not labeled though. It's in the middle of the road, 25 feet in the middle of the road. 75-foot no build is just in front of the house. And the 100-foot buffer zone is about 10 feet into the existing house. There will be a few feet into the proposed addition. The current driveway is right in front of the existing house. That's about 35 feet from the wetlands. The other edge of the roadway. There's an existing garage, one-bay garage in front of the house, and that's 77 feet from the edge of the wetlands, existing. And proposing to add another driveway to service an ADU. It's 30 by 30, which is 900 square feet, which is the limited size for the ADU approval. And they'll have a garage under as proposed. They may not do the garage under, my understanding. They may not do that. But it's shown on there as a possibility. If they don't, then the driveway would be a little shorter. We put it on there to indicate the size of the driveway. The size of the driveway proposed is 1,005 square feet. The proposed addition is 900 square feet. It lines up with a little expanding the house. So it lines up with that, you can see just kind of like the side of the house is on this right side of the house. Meets the zoning requirements. And we're gonna replace the septic system with a new tank and a new pump chamber, because the new system's gonna be further away, about 240 feet from the wetlands, is the edge of the actual new system. There's some grading associated with that, that will be about 25 feet closer downhill. So ultimately, everything we do with the septic system leach area is 200 feet away. The new proposed tank will right back where the old one was, which is about 135 feet away from the wetlands. You have the same location, new 1,500 gallon tank, and a new pump chamber, 1,000 gallons, which will pump it up to the new system. That new system will be fully compliant with Title V. Yes, with no waivers. We actually included a reserve area, so in the future, we'll build that in the same spot as proposed. So the second location up there that we use for future repair, which will be well after 30 years from now. So the total disturbance in the wetland buffer zone is about 1,375 square feet, which includes the driveway, some infiltration trench we're going to put along the driveway to run off, put that in the ground. And then we have about 3 feet of the 60 square feet, 3 feet of the ADU whole addition will be in the buffer zone. So the ADU is 97 feet at its closest point, and 99 on the right-hand side of the wetlands, which is well outside the 75-foot zone. We're also proposing some roof runoff infiltration in the rear of the property, the rear of the building. That will address some of the runoff of the roof runoff. Roof is considered clean water. We put that in the ground. So essentially, it is very little work, 1,375 square feet total, which includes some of the infiltration runoff of the runoff in the driveway. Some utility work, and have a water connection inside the building. It could be a new gas line installed, and electric line probably come from existing pole.
There's no sewer down there?
No. Are there any questions?
The existing driveway is to remain, or will that be
Yes,
pulled up?
That serves the existing garage. Parking for a couple cars in there, and parking for a couple cars up on the new driveway. If they build the entire driveway, they may not build it all the way up.
We're planning on having to according to existing footprint.
So they'll just have a driveway coming up and stopping, just with a ADU, which is.
So, quick question. This is being submitted as a subdivision, but the fee is just for a single-family unit? And I'm just wondering if it should be,
Subdivision?
sorry?
Oh, that was probably clicked.
Well, I think it is a subdivision. I don't know what the accessory dwelling units are considered in the zoning.
I've been researching this for
Good.
family reasons.
Then maybe you can answer this question.
No, it's by right now,
By
you can
right.
have it. So you.
Well, they can have it, but is it considered a subdivision, is what I'm
I don't
saying?
think so, because it has to share the water and electricity and septic of the existing house. You can't have separate, like if they did have sewer, you can't have a separate line going out to the street.
Subdivision is also a split in the lot. There's no block agreement here. It's just the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just checked the
I-
wrong, you checked the wrong box.
Yeah, I think it's considered a single residential.
Yeah, it's still a single family house with an ADU, so auxiliary dwelling unit is what it's called.
Yep,
Kind of like an apartment.
yep, now we got one around the corner.
New name for it now.
So,
By right now, but you don't have to have a special permit, you don't have to have it.
correct me if I'm wrong, please, you have a straw wattle here just on the side of the house right there, but nowhere else?
Nope,
Is that
in
correct, or?
front too as well, right here, from the corner in the garage all the way down.
Oh, that's what that one, okay.
That's gonna be, and it's labeled right here.
Oh, right,
Right
okay,
here,
sorry, I
sorry.
missed that, yeah, okay.
That gives it a length, and that'll, they'll have to open it up to get.
To the
trucks and
driveway.
vehicles to be pulled up and then open, so.
What about I mean, it's not a super steep area here, but what about when you're doing this work?
I didn't show
above
anything, because it's outside the
Essex?
buffer zone, but if you're concerned, we could certainly show a line along the area where it's being graded.
Well, we'd hate to have,
Yeah, we can add it if you'd like, I can certainly add it into the plan.
I mean, I'm less worried, I'm not really worried about Johnson Pond, I'm more worried about going over
Yeah.
greenbelt land.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly add a section of, probably from, this grading here, so probably all the way from 10, 20 feet off the pipe, all the way to the corner, if you'd like, that way.
Love that.
Well, you love that?
Love that.
Full,
He's offering it, Tom.
I know, but I don't wanna,
It's not like we're hitting him with sticks to
It
make
makes
him.
sense because it is so close to the lot line. You don't want to
What was the proposal, Tom?
add some erosion control along from here, along to anything here, one not to warrant it.
just because it's greenbelt property and not that,
Oh,
That's more neighbor
Yeah,
consideration
you don't-
than wetlands.
you don't want the state coming after.
But if you're offering,
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
yeah, I probably should have shown, I apologize, I should have actually added it, I should have been conscious enough to do that.
Driveway, is just asphalt or?
Yeah, it'll be paved. And that's why we're adding the little infiltration on
Yeah,
the side.
is that concrete something?
That's an existing stone bound
Oh, okay.
property corner. They actually bought a piece of property in the past. This was the original lot line from here up to here and up to here.
Oh, okay.
So they bought this little strip of land from the abutter back in the past. They actually were using originally, as you can see, this is the tree line that's existing. And this shed was kind of over the line.
Mhm.
Purchased a small strip back there, 10 years ago or so.
I'd like to propose a site walk so that we can see what it looks like.
you want a site walk?
There's 7 of us, we can probably get at least a couple to go.
I don't know, because I've seen it and,
Well,
but,
the other 6 of us.
no, I'm just saying, I'm biased because I've already seen it. So to me, it's like, I don't think we need a site walk,
I
but,
mean,
If there wasn't a
we tend to
street
do site walks for
between it and the,
construction.
yeah. No, that's fine with me. Doesn't matter to me, because like I say, I've seen it, so. So do we want to do a site walk? Everybody else want to do a site walk? Site visit?
Personally, I feel comfortable because I know the area and but I'm not opposed to a sidewalk.
I just want to see, I guess, myself, the impact that we're allowing.
Well, how many people will go? Let's figure that out. Or maybe, I mean, if you want to go, I
Well, it
don't
could
think.
just be one, yeah.
Yeah,
drive by.
Because right now, it's all grass, that they're, the driveway and the ADU,
And the ADU
correct?
is currently grass.
why don't you
I mean, we're
arrange a
adding
time?
more asphalt across from Johnson's Pond. Why wouldn't we want to go see what the impact looks like?
My understanding is that we're not adding driveways, just put that up there too.
We're not adding the driveway that's proposed here,
Yeah, that's,
that you mentioned earlier?
yes, I propose a driveway, garage under, which would,
But if there's not going to be a garage there, then,
so you're gonna use the same driveway?
Yeah,
and-
it's just a driveway.
So they're not, so we can ask change the plan, but we'll make the driveway then. you know. Exactly. Which I can do. Just trying to layer up. It disappears.
gone.
So, if you wanted sidewalk, I have no problem with sidewalk, and make the change, I can add the erosion control and take off the driveway. And that's gonna.
Stephanie, I think you should
A lot of
go.
work that-
I think you should go. I don't think, and it's easier if there aren't like 5 people trying to say, well, I'm out this day, I'm out this day.
Okay,
Um,
Bill and I can work it out ourselves. Nobody else wants to go?
I'm familiar with the property. I actually don't need to see it. If they're not even talking.
Especially if they're taking out the
If they
driveway.
take out the driveway, then
It's gonna be less work.
it's,
Down to 60
it's,
square feet.
you're down, yeah, you're just,
No driveway. And then we're adding the roof runoff, so.
and you've got from
And this isn't a hearing, so we're not voting on anything today, so,
Well, we could take a vote and say what we think about it from a RDA perspective, but if you're gonna do a site visit, I'd rather not vote on it, because then we can't change our decision, you know what I mean? So, if we do a site walk, which is fine, then we'll just continue our meeting.
well, it's not even continue, is it?
No, I'm saying we
Yeah.
will continue it
Yeah,
until
we'll,
next
we'll
time.
have a meeting, a hearing.
Yeah, we'll continue the RDA until, the decision on the RDA until September.
So Stephanie, for me, I don't need to say, if Center Street wasn't there, I'd be concerned. But
Yeah.
we've already got a main road that's, between this and the pond. I don't see where what they're doing here is gonna change. Especially if they take out that driveway, then there's nothing, then it's just.
But we
Yes.
shouldn't discourage her from going
No,
if
she
she
can,
wants
I
to
mean,
go.
So-
stop by.
So, let me ask a couple other questions. When are you planning on doing this?
As soon as possible.
Oh, okay, as soon as possible. You know what that means?
Well, I think that means we're coming up against November 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
My parents are temporarily staying up with my brother and me, so as soon as they have a place to stay.
What's the start to finish on the project, once things get rolling?
So we're working with Steve Duculu. My cousin had previously done this, and it was August to January timeframe, so hopefully the similar for us to demonstrate.
Okay, because we do have restrictions on work done between November 1st and April 15th.
Yeah.
And that can either cost a lot of money or cause a lot of problems, or both.
Yeah, I'd love to get started this week.
But you don't think you'd be able to get it done by November 1st?
Well, they might. They'll have two,
They only have to get the exterior done.
Yeah, the interior they can, as long as they have the foundation in, it's
Yeah.
graded, and they have the
I think
siding
they would be
windows.
able to get the
Foundation in the
buttoned
shell.
up and what, with the
Might-
ceiling and outside, so you look on the inside.
Yeah.
The plans are all set. the
There's
building's
nothing in the
in
driveway,
there.
so that would definitely help.
Well, can we do something pending Stephanie's okay, if there's an issue? That gets ugly.
either we vote to say yes or not, you know what I mean?
Or put it off till next month.
Yes,
So-
but then that only gives.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, but then
no.
we're putting a hardship on the owners
Well, I
here.
mean, we have the right to ask for a site walk.
Yes.
We can?
We
It's
do.
not, just
There's no-
because it arrived in August doesn't mean we can't have a site walk.
That's correct.
Do we,
However, if the commission votes against it, then, I mean, the project on Garrison, we decided against a peer review. We have the right to a peer review, but we decided against it. We voted against it. So, there's a reason why there's 7 of us. And we respect your desire to take a look at it, but that may not happen.
Well, here's a potential compromise, all right? So Stephanie goes and looks at it. We take a vote tonight. I have a decision that we can vote on, basically to allow it and issue a permit with conditions. So Stephanie goes and looks at it. If she feels that we need to tighten up on the conditions, we can do that. We wouldn't be able to turn it down at that point, but we would be able to tighten it up on the conditions. What do you think about that?
When would you be able to do a site walk?
When? I'm off Friday, Saturday night, Sunday.
Okay, so you could do
How does that sound?
Friday, noon time, I'm available. Saturday, funeral to go to, but I can be there in the afternoon.
That's helpful. So I'll be available.
I'm trying to think, because it's a public meeting, can we, we have to vote here. We can't do anything.
We have to vote
I
here.
think we've tried that once before.
No, that doesn't work.
I think we decided not to try that once before.
I think we did it once, then we said we would never do it again, or something like that. I mean, my personal feeling is, I mean, I'm sort of with you, Mike, like, if there's certain things that we're concerned about, fine. I mean, other than the things I brought up, and then if they're not even putting in the driveway, that even makes me more comfortable. The fact that the road is there gives me a lot of confidence that nothing bad's gonna happen. I can't imagine the commission would not allow this. I mean, if I look at all the other stuff we've done over the years. So I'm sort of in the camp with you, Mike, like, if there's something that whoever goes on the sidewalk sees and they're really concerned about, then we put it in the conditions. But I can't imagine we would vote against this. But that's my personal opinion, based on what we've done in the past.
Yes.
So it's complex, Mike. You can make a motion that.
Yes, I'm going to make a motion. So I'm going to make a motion that we issue a negative determination on this with option number 3, which says, the work described in the request is within the buffer zone as defined in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to jurisdiction under the Act. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent subject to the following conditions, which will be the commission will issue a permit and conditions issued by the commission under the local wetland protection bylaw.
With changes to this plan that we discussed?
Correct.
Putting up the,
I mean, you want
Slope
to
area.
include that in the,
Yeah,
and at this time, what, no driveway?
No driveway.
No driveway.
Having the
additional erosion control.
Yep.
on that boundary line.
And if Stephanie or anybody else on the sidewalk sees anything that is of concern, that be dealt with.
I would suggest that we do leave the hay bales where they are now, because we do have.
It's just a good
we
idea.
do have some,
It's just a good idea. There's gonna be
Yeah.
equipment going,
Yeah, we have some
you could be digging
utility
stuff
going
up.
there as well, right
Yep.
there, so
Yep, no,
we have to be
you're saying all the right things.
I apologize, I should have asked this before. Whatever you're digging out, is that soil gonna be removed right away, or put in such a place that it's not gonna run into the pond during a rain
Yeah,
event?
Yeah, it need to be removed, or use that fill around the foundation in the back or inside.
Or bring it up here? or
Yeah.
something?
Stockpiled somewhere
Okay.
Above or, you know,
above
Yeah, 'cause
erosion control.
It always has to be outside of the 100-foot buffer, right, Mike? We usually put in the conditions?
yeah.
And
For the
stockpile.
stockpiling?
stockpiling.
And we can put the hay bales around that as well, if they're gonna stop out for a period of time.
Okay.
all right. So was there a second on my motion?
Second.
You did, all right. All right, so Stephanie is going to go take a look at it. Let me know when you're going to look, and I'll go with you.
He may go
All right?
anyway.
Because that way there, maybe if we think we need to tighten up on something, we can agree to it.
I can meet you on Friday.
What about Sunday, actually, Bill?
Sunday works. I have a,
Okay. Do you want to meet early on Sunday, get it out of the way?
Sunday's fine, early, yeah. We could have time.
Um,
4:30, so. You don't have to 4:30.
Should we say 9 o'clock on Sunday the 17th?
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Thanks.
Can we do it earlier?
Bill, can you do
8:30?
8:30?
Did we actually do a vote on it?
Just per Mike's request.
Oh, we do. Oh, we
Yeah.
didn't do it.
We still need a vote on this?
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't
did we
voted
vote?
yet. No, I haven't
No.
voted yet.
Stop.
All right, so the motion is to issue a negative determination with option number 3 checked off, and we'll issue a permit and conditions under the local bylaw. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Abstain?
unanimous.
No, I am not going to vote
Oh, so you're
Well, then
going to
abstain.
All right.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
There we
so
go.
6 yes, 0 no, and 1 abstention.
And you guys can stay and watch Democracy in Action, or you can go home.
Thank you. 8:30 on Sunday.
Thank you.
Just chuck them back. Get them later.
Sorry,
Really trying to sell it, huh?
thought that was the thing to do there.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
on the
know.
most basic level.
Next on our agenda is discussion on the VZ Park governance report that we received a discussion about at our last meeting, I believe. And so I thought it was important to kind of talk about our feelings on it, talk about maybe what we think about it, and get some feedback also from some of our
There were words.
people who work at VZ Park. So tonight, we've got Vanessa here, who is our director of VZ Park. And we also have Carol here, our marketer. So thanks for coming, guys. And other interested parties from VZ Park. So we'll let anyone type in that wants to. But, so I had put together, when we first got the report, I went through the report and tried to understand what was being said, and some of the items that I didn't exactly agree with. I met with Rebecca, our town administrator, and the consultant, and we expressed some of those discussion and disagreements. And so then they edited the report and came back with some of the things that I felt were missing. So the report does a good job, I think, of talking about the history and management of VZ Park. And I think a very important thing to keep in mind is that, you know, we have been in charge of VZ Park for over 28 years, and I think the commission has done a good job of it. You know, some people, when the park was first purchased, there were people who were against it, and those people thought that it might last a couple years before the whole thing would fall apart, which obviously hasn't happened. And so through the work of many volunteers throughout the years, you know, the park has done quite well and worked. The report did a good job of pointing out, you know, some of the problems due to capital expenses, the rental properties, some of the management stuff that's there, and a few other things. And, you know, made some suggestions about change. And finally, got some input from catering companies, came back and had some catering companies come in and tell us, you know, what they would do different, perhaps to increase or make it more desirable for weddings or other events, and some of the things that needed to be done. The, I think that just to be able to stop talking here for a moment, you know, I think that the biggest problem that the report brought up, and something that I think the commission knows, but based on some of what we've heard throughout the last few years, is financial. You know, I think that we've reached a point, unfortunately, where the costs that are going up due to the economy are not keeping up. Our income is not keeping up with the costs. So I would say this really seriously kicked in last year, and it's just going on and on. You know, our insurance costs go up significantly every year. Our utilities, you know, gas, electric go up, labor costs, everything's going up. You know, obviously, we all know that. But the income that we're getting is not keeping pace. And so the report suggests a few possibilities of how to deal with that, whether we decide to just give it up and let somebody else manage it, whether it be the town of Groveland in general, or you know, a private vendor coming in. And I think I think probably most of us would disagree with probably both of those things, in that we don't want to lose the community aspect of the facility, because the way things are now, you know, we have events, we have weddings, but the community events that go on there are also a big part of the park. Not only the buildings, but also the whole park itself is very well loved by the community, and a lot of things go on there that people would miss if we couldn't do those kind of things. So the real question is, you know, what are we going to do? I think we, as a commission, kind of have to come up with some ideas, at least on the short term, to deal with this problem of not enough income. The other problem, related again to funding, is our capital expenses. We are able to cover the operation of the park. We've been able to cover the maintenance of the park, but what we obviously cannot cover is the capital expenses, the long-term improvements, or just keeping up with the degradation of the buildings there. And so the only way we've been able to do it is by tapping into conservation related open space or recreation under the Community Preservation Act. And so that's helped quite a bit. Also, our Friends of VZ group has been outstanding in supporting us, funding several projects throughout the year. So we've been able to do that, but regardless of that, you know, I passed out a list that includes tons of things that still need to be done to keep up with what not only what needs to be done on the main building, but, you know, our apartments there, the housing units that are there. There's just no end to it. So as an example, Vanessa brought some pictures, and I'll pass these around for you to look at. The impact of one of these large capital improvements in 2 years ago, we applied for CPA funds to rehabilitate the Great Hall, make it all one level, and put new flooring in, and also put a handicap lift in. And so by looking at these pictures, you'll see the way that it used to look and the way it looks today, which is significantly different and easier to sell to people. So I'll pass those around. So before I say any more here about what we might want to consider doing, you know, I passed out a potential pilot plan for increasing our revenue. But I thought that if anyone from the audience here wants to say anything about the park or efforts that they've been involved in,
Do we have the microphone?
say it.
Do we have the microphone?
Yeah, we'll get one there.
Or mine.
Knew it was you.
Vanessa Lopez. I'm the director at VC Park right currently. And I did get a chance to look at that. I didn't prepare any special notes or anything because I don't think it was that kind of meeting. But in my assessment as a person on site, I thought they covered a lot of problems that we have that we are also looking for solutions to solve. So I found this version of the report to be pretty helpful. I thought the market analysis was really great information for us. I actually was there the couple times for some of the caterers, so that feedback was fantastic. It really like kind of confirmed a lot of the things that we already were thinking, which I think Mike has some information on too. But I think when you read this report, it is confusing, and that's because the situation is confusing. And I think that's because there's a real overlap of competing interests, and I think we all know that about the park. So when you read this report, I think you want to keep in mind what the future of the park is in terms of accessibility to the public versus sustainability and what's easiest for the town. Those things may not be the same thing. And so I think finances, those are things that we can play around with in terms of, you know, finding ways to make more money, but that's not the essential problem. The essential problem is the long-term management when Mike and me and the friends and Carol and Doug are no longer there, because so much happens on a volunteer passionate basis. Like there's a lot of in-kind donations with time and people and things, and so you'll lose that depending on what model you go with, and that might be better. It's really up to the town and the residents and the people that are involved to figure that out. But if this is meant to stay pretty community friendly, that's really something to keep in mind as well, because some of those things can't happen at the same time, if that makes sense. But I'm also very open to questions. I know that it's a very mysterious place for some people, so if anybody does have any questions about how things operate or what we do, or wants a tour, or wants to have a long discussion about the hillside, I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, I'm pretty available and open. You can always email me, vanessa@vcpark.org, or check out the website. All of those contact forms also go to me, so okay. That's it. I don't know, unless you guys have any direct questions for me. Take some time to look that through. Does anybody else want to say something? Let's just comments on.
Yeah, I'm Diane Planchmere. So we are the executive board of the Friends of VZ, president, vice president, treasurer. We've been involved as friends for a very long time. I don't know how many years. Claire started. 2005. That's what's on our. And we have multiple, I think it says in your report that we have 2 fundraisers every year. No. We have multiple fundraisers every year, probably in the order of 5. We make a significant amount of money for the park. We just recently redid the whole garage to the tune of $25,000. The garage was falling down, needed a significant amount of repair, and so we funded that. That's the kind of project basis we support, and through our fundraisers. And our fundraisers are community events. Some of them are free to the public. We've just had an ice cream social. We will have a winter festival. Those are free to the community. And yes, well, the Fairy House Festival is also free to the community. We suggest and ask for fundraisers, for donations. We're having a big Dark Sky event in early September jointly with the Groveland Garden Club. So we do a lot. We meet regularly, we meet monthly, we have serious considerations and serious support of the park. We're all volunteers. I've been rewilding the whole top of the forest for a number of years now. You ought to come see that. And anything else? I just want you to know how important we think we are to the support of the park. And we have done so much. Anything else? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, definitely, we understand, or I understand the passion that you all have and the great work that you're doing. It's a large piece of property. We have to figure out how to get more people traipsing through it one way or another, whether it's through weddings or, we were walking a couple weeks ago for looking at the trails, and seeing what we can do there to make them better.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's a matter of people. I think one assessment we did for a year of how many people would have come through the park, not including the actual park, and it was about 7,000 people that would have attended our fundraisers or events as well as private events. So that's a significant amount of people. It's like as many people as in this town. So I think that we should consider, yes, the money is very important. That's really a big deal. But the other part of it is the governance part is going to really matter too, and how things could happen, because that is one of our challenges, is making things happen. Everything happens very slowly. So depending on, what the goal is, it will elevate some areas over others. And so that's where the importance of what you guys think is important really matters.
Yeah, and I think, for speaking for myself, I like the homegrown management, because it's again, people with heart that are working it. So I don't know, Mike, you were talking about other caterers that?
Yeah, there are other places that, basically turn the place over to a catering company or a events company, and then they lose the ability to, have it open to the public or have community events, or even have other rentals.
Somebody else managing is going to dictate a schedule and
Yes,
and access.
yes.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes,
So.
yes. So, so I put together this, with Vanessa, put together this pilot plan that kind of addresses some ways to increase rentals. And so, by increasing private rentals, as you can see in this, in 2025, our income from the event rental side of things was $55,833. And so if you looked on the budget, we're projecting that in order to have enough money to cover all of our budget, that we need to actually increase this to at least $70,000 in fiscal year '26. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to take a look at our wedding marketing more closely, our event management, our pricing, and get a survey done and start pursuing partnership with some of the vendors. It's possible to do partnerships with caterers and other wedding-type vendors, bartenders, et cetera, without having them necessarily take over everything. So more partnerships rather than that. So those are the kind of things, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about them, but that's the kind of thing that I think we'd like to do in the next year, year and a half or so, because I think that if within 18 months, if we can prove by doing some of these things, increasing and paying more attention to our marketing efforts and what we're actually doing to increase private and rentals, either that's going to say, yes, it can be done and we can make it sustainable in the longer term, or if it can't be done and we've gone through these efforts, then I think we're going to have to seriously think about a totally different way of managing, whether, like I say, whether that's bringing a third party in or another method. The other thing that I think is a problem, as I mentioned, is the capital stuff. And so I think that we need to do something different about that. You heard what Diane said. You know, the Friends of VZ are great in helping us out. And, but, you know, can they reliably give us $50,000 to $100,000 for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years to take care of this list of things that really need to get done sooner than later? Probably not. So we're going to have to pursue some different ideas about that, whether it's private grant funding or other CPA or town-related changes to how capital improvements are managed by the town for the park. So I'm not requesting tonight that we take a vote on this plan. So what I'd like the commissioners to do is maybe take a look at this, read it again, look at the list, maybe read the report again. If you need me to email it to you again, I can do that. Look at our report on the budget and on the 2025, where we came from. So look at everything, and then we'll discuss it again next month and see, you know, what you think about moving forward this way, if that's okay with everybody.
Sounds good.
Is there a list of the events that you, I would say, private events that have come?
A list in terms of like how many we have every year, or?
No, the
Like
actual
a
events.
calendar, on such and such a day, this with X number of people.
Well, I know I know you have weddings. What other types of?
Everything.
Well, I know for fundraising, things like that, but I was thinking more private events. Who do we, you know, who's out there looking for spaces? I'm just trying to get the high school reunions. Like I said, I know there's weddings.
I mean, it's a little bit of everything. We've started catering more to weddings now because we have chairs and some things that are a little more wedding-like, like you saw the pictures.
Yeah, yeah, no.
That's what we were working with maybe 3 or 4 years ago, so it's come a long way in that more people want to have their events there. But we do everything, baby showers, you know, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, weddings. I think one time we even had like a horse blessing, something like that. So there's a lot of like nonprofit stuff too that
Yeah.
does pay, but they have their own, they host their own events too. We've had other people host public events. So we don't host every single event ourselves. We do work with the Friends to do their annual events that are more consistent, but it's a variety.
Yeah,
So,
well, just-
yeah, we've really been kind of trying everything.
Yeah.
We do daytime stuff too, so there's a lot of shops, like classes, workshops. There's a theater group that does music, theater, and voice. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. So just trying to figure out like what is working. is what's
Yeah, I guess that's,
Oh, and the camp. Yeah, the camp.
Yeah,
We have
the
a
camp, yeah.
there. Day camp's there 7 weeks out of the year.
and I was just asking, for me personally, I was just wondering if there was a list, because again, if I'm talking to people, you know, oh, have you considered this place?
Oh, just send them to our website. It has all the information on there. We've got like a list of the pricing and the pictures and
Okay.
if you have questions about the park itself, you know, you can answer them there. And I think there's a whole page on the Friends too. They're also working on some new exciting things to offer as well, but.
Okay.
Yep, I'm revamping the website just to get the SEO keywords and whatnot all worked out. And there's an event form. So yeah, have them go right to that, and that goes right to Vanessa, and she'll be able to get in touch with them.
Okay. Thank you.
I would say that there's almost something going on where people are paying almost every single day.
Yeah, I would say that's.
Yeah.
I think while the report does have a lot of great stuff, it is missing like a huge overall picture of the people that exist there, because there's a lot going on. But, in all types of events.
Well, the public events are listed on a couple different pages on the
Probably should
website.
have one.
Like
Okay.
that's,
Microphone?
group about that.
Oh, yeah, what happened?
Diane,
Oh.
I'm Kathleen Sachs, I'm the treasurer for the Friends. So a couple things, Mike, you talked about your pilot list or pilot plan there. Is that something we can get a copy of?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we've been talking about with the Friends is, in terms of the fundraising, is how can we best use the money that we raise to keep the park sustainable, right? So I asked Mike and Vanessa to do a wish list. It's part of what we're working on, right? So if part of the issues with weddings is that we don't have electricity outside at the park, so that requires people to bring it in all sorts of forms, right? So the question is, what would that cost? What would it cost to put wiring out there that would make us more attractive? And is that something the Friends can fund? But we don't have that information yet. So that's one of the things we're looking for, is really specific information about that. We talked about other things like smoke detectors. So we've done things like rehabbing the garage shed building, but we need to have a bigger picture of what we're doing. And what we want to have is also more communication between the CONSCOM, the town, and us. One of the things I'm concerned about when we talk about using caterers, I understand that as a concept, but so we have 3 essential fundraisers. We have the Ferry House Festival, which is coming up in September. We have the flea market, which we do in March, and then we have the huge Rubbish to Runway, which is an event done by Melissa Montello, one of our directors. It's her event, and she brings it to us at VC Park, and she gives us all the proceeds. She could bring it anywhere she wanted, and she has chosen us for it. But we need to help her with that. We need space and we need time for her. So in terms of the wedding schedule, I talked to her about could she move that to the fall, because that was one of the things Mike and I discussed. It's not feasible for her because so many of the participants are high school and college kids. So she aims for the last weekend in June. Too early in June, high school, college graduation. After that, they're gone. So it's really essential that we have it then. So if there was a plan at any point to have caterers use the park, we would need to know that we could black out that weekend, or preferably week, because I don't know if any of you have had the chance to be at the show, but it is phenomenal. But it's a tremendous amount of work. I mean, dress rehearsals, all that kind of stuff, modeling workshops. So that's part of what we want to look at, but also part of what we want to work together with everyone, because for all of us, the goal is to keep VC Park sustainable.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. So, thank you very much for coming. And I see Rebecca's back there, so hopefully Rebecca heard all of this. Saved me some time from explaining it to you personally. So, just to continue down the list, so the VZ Park updates in the packet was, as I mentioned already, the fiscal year 26 budget and the fiscal year 25 report. You'll see those things, and don't think there's anything else to say about what's going on there right now. Moving on to our Trails Stewardship Program. So, I know that we've got some work to do under the Trail Enhancements Project that Recreation is working with us on. And so I think we need to have a meeting, potentially. I'll see what we can set up, maybe Bill and Rich, and we can meet with Patrick and also with the two people that want to be stewards, Doug at the park, and also Jim Lafferty, who wants to be working on Meadow Pond. The other thing is the Trails Enhancement Project. So we visited 4 of our sites that are on the list: VZ Park, Meadow Pond, the Community Trail, and also
The river, or, yeah.
yes,
Down by the pines.
the river down here,
River
Merrimack
Trail.
River Trail. And so we still have yet to visit Town Forest and 150 Center Street, so we're going to work on that. But one of the things that we're trying to put together with Patrick, who is kind of running the show on that project, is the specifications for things like trail signs, trail markers, benches, kiosks, few other things that are built into that CPA proposal. So that's ongoing. So I will contact you two guys and try to see what we can come up with a meeting in the next few weeks. Now, I'm going to turn things over to our new conservation agent, John Sullivan, and welcome him to our meeting tonight, his first meeting here, and just have him give us a little update on what he's been doing the past few weeks since starting, and kind of what his plans are going forward. So take it away, John.
Hello, everyone. My name's John Sullivan. I'm the conservation agent for the town, working on my 4th week now. Over the past few weeks, I've just been continuing to absorb the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, including the differences between an RDA and NOI and what is required for each. Working with Mike to gain a comprehensive understanding of the application process and what's required in those procedures. My aim is to gain adequate knowledge of the tasks and the processes for the role over the next 6 months, and hopefully a comprehensive knowledge of the Wetland Protection Act in general over the next year. I'm also interested in participating in the Fundamentals for Conservation Commissioners course and getting that initial certificate. But other than that, my day-to-day has included, answering questions, any emails that come in, also like creating guides, not only for myself, but, for any future individual who ends up being a conservation agent for the town. SOPs, just general documentation of what we do. So, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's good to have a real live agent here.
Oh my God, we're so grateful. Yeah.
Yes. After a year of not having anyone, and I'm personally very happy with that I can kind of back off to being just involved with the commission rather than have to do all the hard work of writing up agendas and minutes and permits, et cetera, et cetera. So it never ends. So I'm confident that John can step up and learn what he needs to learn and take over all of the stuff that needs to get done, which is great. Any other items for discussion? Anything else we need to talk about? How about?
What's going on at the pumping station?
Pumping station?
Storage lift at Stacy's Square?
Sorry?
Is that what you're talking about? Main Street?
I'm talking about over by the trail.
But, yeah.
Thank you.
I think what we saw was they've marked off where the,
They're doing some, it's part of a project where they're doing
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff. They're doing some replication or.
Did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, I just had a thought. In terms of this report, I just wanted to mention that one of the things that I came away from is there doesn't seem to be a property like this anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
So that was,
Yep.
I'm hoping that, that would pop up.
One of a kind.
One of a kind.
Thank you, Vanessa.
So which place I'm sorry.
So the pumping station on Main Street.
Okay.
Across from the old Estes, you mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
they're
bas-
making our parking lot.
Well, they're doing some other work too.
Yeah,
but
they
it's-
had it
it's
all
a-
marked off.
It's the parking area is part of it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so I just wanted, has anybody been out to take a look at that officially?
Yeah.
I saw you there the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah, we had a pre-construction meeting with them.
I mean, it looks like the erosion even though it's flat as a table, the erosion controls are all over the place.
Yeah.
And are
no.
they doing a replication or retention pond in the back, or what's the?
They are going to do a mitigation area to kind of replace.
Oh, where the parking area is gonna be?
Yeah, in behind the building.
Yep,
But they
yep.
weren't sure exactly how they were gonna do that until they saw how everything else fit in. So, but they're moving along pretty quickly. so-
Yeah, I went to plant some stuff there the other day, and it's like, wow, things are really moving along.
Yeah, which is good. Very good. So, yeah, I think they're gonna be done long before November
Yeah,
1.
okay, cool.
Any other items not reasonably anticipated? I don't have any of those. And our next meeting is.
Actually, I have one question here.
Sure.
So we kind of chatted about this in the past, is we sit here and make decisions on projects, vote on them going forward, but a lot of times we don't know anything about what happens to that project after it started.
Yep.
Did it officially start? Did it get completed? Was it postponed? And my question is, since we now have a willing volunteer, that we could set up maybe something that, a projects list, where we can have each project, and then we could see
Yep.
where it's going,
Yep.
at what stage it's at, so
Similar to how Rebecca presents at select board meetings? Yeah.
I just think that would.
Milestones and stuff?
Yeah, basically, I mean,
Well, this is
it
what
makes
we
sense.
That between
voted,
two
and here's where we
engineers,
are.
Yeah, but that way there, in the future, if
Without
something
making
comes
a
up,
PowerPoint.
we can reference back to something, we
There's
have a
software for
better
that. You don't need to-
way of having a history that we can track.
Yes, so John and I talked about this, and we currently have no way of tracking projects like that. Where are they at? It's totally on whoever's in the office memory to remember, oh yeah, that's right, in May, we approved an RDA. Did they finish? What's the status, you know? And then you gotta go out and visit it because you can't remember, did they actually, and the trouble with an RDA is there's no requirement for them to even report back to us that it was done, unlike a notice of intent where they get to file a certificate of compliance. So John's looking into other potential software systems that exist out there already that we can use for tracking so that we can at least get a report on what are all the open projects, where do they stand, what's the status, where in the steps are they?
Yeah, but we could even use, isn't there like Microsoft Project?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you can at
Yeah.
least have something where you have an overview and like, oh, let's not let this get away from us, then.
Yep. that's
Well, it's
what-
in the seasonal the seasonal restrictions.
Yes.
You know, we
Yes.
start mumbling in September, oh, we need to.
No, and it's a manual process. I did
Yeah.
it last year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to look through all
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
files.
John's looking forward to it this year, I can tell.
It shouldn't be that
Still a
hard.
month away.
It should not be that hard.
If you can
Just a
find something
spreadsheet,
that,
Can't we just have a
you know,
spreadsheet with?
Well,
facilitates
yeah,
it,
you
fine,
can
but
do a
even Excel
spreadsheet.
would be
But
something.
even
the-
like
just the-
Microsoft Project, you could start with the
We only
project,
do 2 or 3.
you know, notice of intent,
Yep.
once a
everything,
month,
and you can just
You know,
go right down the line.
Brilliant, yeah.
and you can.
There's a number of ways to do it. We're just not doing it. During the past 2 years, we have done an excellent job on our files, in our file system. All of our files are in great shape. Our paper files are in great shape. We have a method of what needs to go into them.
Thanks to Annie.
And yes, and Annie did a very good job of doing that. And our electronic files are also in very good shape. So not only are our decisions in the paper, along with all the backup material, but in the cloud, basically, somewhere here, all of our stuff, we're scanning everything in now. So if we can't find it on paper, we can always, sometimes it's faster to just pull the file, but sometimes it's faster to look at the electronic records, you know. If you're looking for something specific on a permit, you can search for it rather than have to flip through pages. So all that stuff is very good. But again, like I say, the weak point is, you know, and I've seen it so many times, is exactly what you described, Rich. So,
What if we do this, Mike? Like the one at 22 Center Street's a perfect example. They're gonna get an RDA. We tell them whatever the frequency we want. Once a month, you need to email us at this address and you need to tell us where you're at.
Project update.
yeah,
Like, it can be one sentence long, it doesn't have to be a whatever, but it'd be great, hey, you want to throw in some digital pictures, it's like everybody has a phone, you know, it's not, I mean, we don't
I
get
would-
overwhelmed with data, but.
I would be happy if we even just put in that they tell us when they're done.
Well, right, but my point is, like, similar to the
Yeah.
building permit, where you have to have Sam come over and give you a final inspection, you know, maybe we have something along those lines. That's the condition.
You could have a template that you give them with the orders of conditions that says start date, this and that, and then have to report it. You know, whatever the major
Right.
milestones we want, and they have to.
Yeah.
You know, and the tough ones are the RDAs. Notice of intent are not as bad because there's a requirement for them to report when they're done. Of course, they
If
don't
they do.
always do that either,
Yeah,
but,
we've
you know.
run into those, you know,
We're
Monday
trying to sell our
morning,
house
sign
and-
everything because we're closing in 2 hours.
Yeah, right. And so, you know, another job that John's gonna have to do is to look back over, and you have to do this every so often, is look back over all the notice of intents that we've issued and find out how many of them are missing a certificate of compliance. So, you know, that's something that gets done probably every couple of years, but it'd be a lot easier to, if you had a list and you knew.
And we don't
rather
always
than-
know when something's been filed with the registry of
Yeah,
deeds.
yeah, there's so many steps along the way.
Yeah, that should be
you
a-
really need to track.
That should be a requirement.
Yeah,
And if we don't
Well,
get a deed number or a book number or whatever it is, then.
yeah.
How do most people file those? Do they email it to the registry? Do they hand
I think most people
I
go
think
to the registry.
you have to go, right? Because you got to pay them.
Physically.
I think you have to physically go,
Well, you can
or you pay a lawyer.
You know,
to
you
do it, right?
can, you can pay on the internet.
No, but I'm wondering for the deeds, you're allowed to file stuff?
I haven't filed anything.
Don't think about running here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always, it's been like, you know, a loan and the bank does it, or the
Right,
lawyer or
right,
something
right.
like that does it.
I just say we gotta start somewhere, so we gotta
Yep,
pick
makes
something
sense.
to start with, and
Yep.
then we can grow it out from there.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
good point.
Right now, we're, you know, down to this.
And we also have to start with ending, and I move to adjourn at 8:43.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
With the reminder that our next
Aye.
meeting is September 10th.
You already said that earlier.
Well, I'm emphasizing it.
Did you get your ear pierced? I have never noticed.